Alright guys, I'm going to show you something here. This is kind of funny. Doesn't surprise me because you got to do what you got to do. But you see these little clamps. That one actually looks like it's bent unless it's made that way. I'll have to check. But anyways, so what they do is they clamp down the U-joint right there, so you can see this clamp right here. It holds the bearing cap and the U-joint together, and these are all over the place on all the joints. And apparently somebody lost one of the U-joints, so I can get a good shot here. What they did was they just took some big square nuts right there and sat it down over the top of this little ledge right here to hold this cap in place, and then screwed a nut down on top of that. And that's all that was holding the transmission to the main drive shaft. So surprisingly, it was still intact. Now you can tell this stud right here is just totally chewed away, so I'm gonna have to replace that stud. But kind of interesting, I guess. Scary, but interesting. Quick update on the transmission top. It's all cleaned up now. That's, like I said before, that's where the stick shift comes in. And what holds it in is this big spring and this locking ring, and this little deal. I haven't really researched exactly what that function of that is yet, but it goes inside in there. Let's see here. So right here, this hole, there's a pin that goes through there, and it's where this is the pin right here. Hopefully that's focused. So let me switch hands here. So that's the pin there, and it goes through that hole I showed you, and then it kind of slides back and forth in this slot. And that's really where it kind of keeps it all aligned. The problem is this pin was super loose, so I'll show you really quick. Maybe let me put it in. Yeah, I can't really get it back through the hole, but but it was super jiggly and loose, and so that kind of makes the stick shift a little sloppy. So I wanted to tighten that up a little. So what I did is I took just a panhead bolt and ground it down to match almost what that same piece looks like, but the bolt is a bigger diameter, and polished everything up real smooth, so it's super smooth in here. So with the addition of the oil that'll go in the transmission that sloshes up in there, that'll be great. It'll slide perfectly nice. Tolerance between the side is the same. One direction it's pretty tight, one direction it's looser. I'll kind of show you here. So this direction, a little loose and pretty tight. So what I'll do is I'll take this bolt and I'm going to tap this hole. I'll cut the bolt down to the same, about the, well, a little longer than that stud, or I mean that pin. And I'll probably end up coming in from the inside with this, and I'll screw the bolt up through the hole, put a nut on top of it and lock it down, and then it'll be nice and solid and hold that thing together. So if all works out, then I will have a nicely tightened up shift. Of course, this thing's sloppy, you know, naturally, but it should take some of the slop out, I think. And I polished the ball up real good. I polished the end up right here, which is what slides back and forth in the different little forks to shift gears. So hopefully that works out pretty good. But on this, actually, I'll update you on this too. So this was hogged out real bad. Try to get a better shot here. So the sides, let me see if I can find something to point with. Use a screwdriver. So the side right here and right here were hogged out, so they were real wide. So I took my TIG welder and put a little bit of material on both sides, and then smoothed it over like that, and then straightened it out through the slots. So now it's back to almost to its original width, instead of being real widened out like that. So that should help too. So that's kind of where we're at on transmission top. Here's the transmission case, all media blasted, cleaned up, ready to go. I'm going to get it painted, primed, and then painted, and then by the time this is dry or cured, probably in about a week, then I'll be able to start slapping it all back together. Really simple transmission, so not very complicated. But there it is, and the transfer case, the front plate anyway, or the one plate. The bigger part of the housing is shot, so I had to order a new one, so hopefully it'll show up here in the next couple days. Also got the shifter cane hanging here, ready for paint.